Okay.
All right, Caroline. My first question is, why'd you join the philosophy club?
Oh, because I'm a philosophy major, and I thought it'd be interesting and pretty relaxing as a club overall, because it's not, it's just about meeting up and talking about philosophy.
And that's why you've continued to be a part of it? Is it just, it's just like relaxing and kind of a fun place to be?
Yeah.
All right.
There's good people in it.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's fun. All right, so what kinds of people would enjoy this club, do you think?
Any philosophy major or minor, or anyone that likes to debate or just kind of have a discussion with a group about like interesting topics that you wouldn't normally get the chance to talk about with people.
Okay. All right, what advice would you give to someone joining the club, or like what you wish you had known before joining the club?
I don't know advice. I mean, because the club's pretty relaxed, so it's not like you can kind of just come and go as you please. Like, no one's gonna say anything if you have to leave for class or anything. It's just kind of like it's easy to be part of the discussion. I don't know if that's like real advice though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to join, and there's no like there's no like continuation, like you can just show up when you can or when you have time. It's not really a huge commitment, and it's just a good place to go, I think.
Great. How would you say that the philosophy club is different from other clubs on campus?
Well, it's about philosophy, and there's not that many of those, which is nice because I know the major's like kind of small, so it's nice to have a club that's kind of dedicated just to the major. And it makes it like more friendly, I think, because it's like it's a small group, and everybody that is there because they want to be there, and no one comes if they don't want to come, because there's no like enforcement of like attendance or mandatory attendance or anything. It's just a comfortable place.
Yeah. All right, so this is kind of a similar question, but what would you say is most special about the club? And it's going to be like events, topics, or like anything kind of like that?
I mean, events are kind of when professors come in and talk, rather than the club deciding on a topic and then talking about it for the whole time. But it's not that different. It's just you have like a professor to bounce ideas off of, instead of like other people who are interested in philosophy or who are philosophy majors or minors that are like you can like bounce your ideas off of, kind of. It's just a different I don't want to say different platform, but it's like a different audience, kind of, if you want to add something. And sometimes the professors will give you like more insight into a topic than you would get.
More information, so maybe facilitating the discussion more.
Yeah.
All right. Feels like you've kind of already answered this question, but like, what kinds of experiences have you had in the club? So far, you said it like pretty positive.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody's friendly when you come. Like, everybody's just wants to talk about philosophy. Like, no one's gonna be exclusive or anything. And no one's gonna like judge anybody for what they say, because these topics are, they're always kind of geared in a way where no matter what you say, there's always like another way to take something. So it's not really, like, we do talk about like some controversial things, like, we did have a topic about like racism. I forgot, it was like a month ago. I think it was like a month ago. We did that one. And then it's like we do talk about like ethical problems too, but no one judges you for like what you say, because as long as you can like back it up, then people will argue with you, because it's like a debate or like a discussion, but it never gets like heated.
Yeah, so it's just friendly discussion.
Yeah.
Friendly debating. What is a typical meeting like?
everyone who's going to be there kind of shows up. The room is kind of small because it's not a big club meeting. And then when the club president shows up, there is usually pizza, so people eat pizza, and then they introduce the topic of the day, or they say, we have this professor coming in and they're going to talk to us about X topic, or whatever they're going to talk about, and then we just kind of talk about it for about like 45 minutes, and then that's about it. Yeah.
So again, very kind of relaxed.
Yeah. Informal.
Is there anything you believe that the club could do differently or better?
Okay, the only thing is that nobody's ever on the email list, like, half the time. So I think that maybe there should be, like, an announcement or something at the beginning so everyone can make sure. Like, if they show up to the first meeting of the semester, then they can make sure that people actually are on the email list.
It's like write down their emails or something.
Because that seems to be an issue.
And that's just for, like, sending out information?
Yeah, for articles, if professors are coming to talk, or sometimes if anyone's talking, that they, like, have an article they want someone to read, or if they have other related information about, like, what's going to be happening the next week and stuff. Like, keep people up to date.
Right. Do many people in the club study philosophy?
I'd say a majority have some, like, are either a major or a minor, but there are a fair number of people that just have, like, an interest in it, or they've taken a philosophy class and they just like it, or they're in ethics bowl, which is another philosophy related activity, and they like that, so they thought they would like philosophy club, because a lot of people bring their friends from philosophy classes or from other classes that have an interest.
What interests you about philosophy?
Okay, so philosophy is just really interesting because it makes you kind of think about everything that other people don't spend time thinking about on, like, a day-to-day basis. Like, it's the kind of big ideas or even the small ideas that are just, they're part of the world, but everyone just kind of seems to accept them, except for, like, philosophers. And then the more you think about it, the more you realize that they are actually issues instead of just things that people don't think about or don't act like they're issues.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this kind of follow-up question. I'm going to cite a source here, so get ready for that.
Okay.
All right, so the paper The Role of Philosophy in the Life of a Student at a Technical University by Webb, Karabayeva, and Kudrova claims that young people value material wealth over spiritual moral values, and that philosophy in that sense is not important to the average young person. So what do you have to say to that claim? Do you think that philosophy is important in combating materialism?
I mean, depending on the philosopher, they could totally support materialism as their philosophy, but what's important about philosophy is that you can have those views, but you could also have other views, and there's a broad spectrum of views that you can actually have. So you don't even have to answer that and just say yes or no. There's always, like, a third way, or a third answer, or something else that you could say to it. But I would say that philosophy, in that sense, does combat it, because when you're studying philosophy, you aren't focused on one specific view, and that, I think, and a lot of the time you're not even focused on the physical, because a lot of philosophers don't even connect, like, the spiritual world and the physical world, so it's hard to kind of support and sustain materialism as, like, an overarching ideal of what people have in their minds when you're studying philosophy, because there's just so many other things that you can have instead.
Okay. Right. So how do you think philosophy is important for, like, university level students in particular?
I think it's important at the university level because once you get to the university level, everyone is focused on their exact career path. And because of that, people kind of don't take the time to stop and think about things as much because they're so focused on what their plan to graduate and their plan to get a job and their plan to balance school with jobs or other aspects of their life. And philosophy kind of like lets you slow down and really think things through more, and it helps you become more analytical, and you just kind of you gain a lot of life skills from it in terms of like rationality, and it's like it adds balance, I think.
That's important. Alright, so a paper by the philosopher John Marenbon in 2011 supports the study of ancient philosophy, so like ancient Greek and stuff, but also like even older stuff that doesn't seem to always have a strong connection to like more modern topics.
Yeah, pre-Socratics.
Yeah, so do you believe that it is useful to study these ancient works, like in any kind of way?
Yeah, I do, because it's important to see kind of where everything really began and the evolution of thought as like a study of thinking, or like a study of like knowledge as a whole, because if you understand how people think, then, or like the different ways that people in like a different time period thought, then it can help you understand how you think, how we think today, and how it's different, how it's evolved and changed, but also you can learn to think about things in a different way, because if you only look at modern thought, then you're only looking at it from one perspective, and it always is helpful to have multiple perspectives.
Yeah, that seems kind of core to philosophy, considering all the perspectives.
Yeah.
Alright, do you see philosophy as part of your daily life? And then, if yes, how so? And if not, why not?
I'd say yes, not just because I'm a philosophy major, but just because I think if you are a philosophy major, it's kind of something that you saw coming, because, in a sense, because you always had times in your life where you would spend